Hey folks, this is Rhykker with another Diablo lore video. In today's episode, we discuss the Dark Exile, a civil war in the Burning Hells. This is part 9 in a series in which we explore the major players in the world of Diablo, from the Nephilim to Tyrael to Deckard Cain to Diablo himself. And we give a crash course on what exactly is going on story-wise in this game series. Feel free to check out past episodes if you haven't, and be sure to have subscription notifications turned on to be alerted when a new episode goes live. Now, in our last episode, we discussed the Age of Faith, a time when religion dethroned magic as the leading power in Sanctuary, after magic had dethroned religion as the leading power in Sanctuary. So we've been focused on the happenings within Sanctuary for a while now, and while that will continue to be of interest to us, we need to lay some groundwork to move the story further along. And to do that, we need to talk about a great revolution in the Burning Hells.
So it came to be that there was a great revolution within the Burning Hells, known as the Dark Exile.
So the Dark Exile, this was a time, an event, when the 4 lesser evils exiled the 3 prime evils from hell through a coup d'etat. The lesser evils felt that the primes were too focused on humanity and not enough on the war against the angels in the high heavens. Now, as we previously discussed, at the end of the Sin War, that was the first war between heaven and hell over the fate of Sanctuary, a deal was struck between the 3 prime evils and the Angelus Council, the ruling body of the high heavens. And the deal was that neither heaven nor hell would interfere with humanity, and there would be a ceasefire between heaven and hell. Although ceasefire seems worse for hell. But since they're no good demons, the prime evils didn't care to actually honor the deal, and almost immediately started thinking up zany schemes to circumvent the truce. They wanted to sway humanity to side with the Burning Hells, knowing the power of the Nephilim, and believing that they, the Nephilim, humanity, would actually be the key to winning the great conflict against the high heavens. But the lesser evils didn't approve of this plan. So let's talk a bit about the 4 lesser evils, shall we? You've got Asmodan, the Lord of Sin. He presided over the realm of sin in hell. You see, there are 7 realms in hell, 1 for each of the evils, and the realm of sin is the most densely populated of all the realms in hell. And that's not a fat joke. It's a place of both great joy and despair, where all manner of sins are indulged to the extreme, from the sexy ones to the sadistic ones. When you first enter the realm of sin, it appears seductive. But as you wind your way down this harem's labyrinthine passages, your desires become sated. You're full, you've had enough. But then you keep going, and going, and going, until you become so disgusted with the pleasures of life that you're driven to madness. But back to Asmodan. He had a great many victories on the battlefield in the war against heaven, and through selective breeding, he even created a race of winged demons known as demonic hellflyers in order to gain aerial superiority against the winged angels. We see these demonic hellflyers in Diablo 3's Act 3 and Act 4. On to our next lesser evil, Belial, the Lord of Lies, who ruled over the Realm of Lies. This is a place of illusion where you can't trust anything your senses are telling you. It first seems like a paradise, but you quickly begin to realize that everything pleasant-seeming is bait, leading you into trap after trap. And to be fair, after the first couple traps, it's kind of on you at that point if you're still falling for them. Eventually, though, your perception of reality becomes permanently screwed up. Then we have Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish, aka the Demon Queen, who ruled over the Realm of Anguish. Starting to see the pattern here? The Realm of Anguish is a place of punishment where regret, guilt, and self-loathing are inflicted upon people through both physical and psychological means. You know, kind of like your average 9-to-5 job. The Plains of Despair is an area in the Realm of Anguish, an area that we visit in Diablo 2's Act 4. Andariel's minion, Rakanoth, Lord of Despair, was in charge of this place, where he served as a jailer to the angel Izual. But that's a story for another day. Then lastly, we have Duriel, the Lord of Pain, and twin brother of Andariel. Clearly they were not identical twins. He was also known as the Maggot King because, well, Duriel ruled over the Realm of Pain, which was basically one giant series of torture chambers. In it, thousands of captive demons were kept in all manner of torture devices, and Duriel basically gets off on seeing them in pain. This place is so horrific that even demons avoid it, including the other great evils. The Realm of Pain is adjacent to the Realm of Anguish, and apparently sometimes those who are driven mad in the Realm of Anguish offer themselves up to Duriel willingly to escape the mental pain through physical pain. So anyway, while the primevals thought that humanity was the key to winning the war, the lesser evils didn't think so. They believed that demons were superior to humans. Presumably because they didn't go to Sanctuary and see the might of the Nephilim for themselves. They just wanted to keep waging war against the high heavens and forget about this whole humanity nonsense. It's like in a Dungeons & Dragons session where the thinkers are spending 3 hours coming up with some overly elaborate plan, when the hack and slashers decide they've had enough and just charge in Leroy style. Also, the lesser evils were still kind of butthurt over the fact that the three kept secret from them the existence of Sanctuary when they first found out about it. Now, Azmodan was the first to try to take out and replace the primevals. He sent his closest followers to stage a coup, and they failed. So in retaliation, Diablo turned Azmodan's closest followers into the Fallen Ones. You know, those dumb little imp demons that we see across multiple Diablo titles? Rackety shoot! And like any great boss, Azmodan completely deflected any responsibility, blaming his dumb minions for screwing up his brilliant plan. So then realizing, oh, maybe I need a bit more help, Azmodan, with the help of Belial, rallied all 4 lesser evils and started an open rebellion against the primevals. It proved rather easy to sway the minions of Hell to war, since the whole not fighting angels thing was kind of seen as weakness on the part of the primevals. And in fact, it was actually Belial, the Lord of Lies, Master of Manipulation, Duke of Deceit, Father of Falsehoods, Prince of Perjury, Baron of... you get the idea. It was Belial who had actually manipulated Azmodan into leading this rebellion to begin with. You know, so that if it went sour, Azmodan could be the fall guy. So Belial and Azmodan were totally on board with this plan, but at first, Dariel and Duriel were like, I don't know about this. But then Belial was all like, come on. And then they were like, okay. The civil war that followed resulted in 1/3 of Hell's forces being wiped out. And throughout it, the minions of the primevals eventually turned on their masters, which ultimately cost them the battle. And Dariel, who was a former confidant of Diablo, now reveled in his anguish. Kind of a dick move. Sort of like an "and you, Brutus" moment, except if after stabbing Caesar, Brutus would have turned around, pointed, and laughed at him. So, weakened and having lost their physical form, the primevals were banished to Sanctuary, where Azmodan hoped that they would stay imprisoned forever. Well, I'm sure that's the last we'll ever see of those guys. In fact, Azmodan hoped that by setting the primevals loose upon Sanctuary, Heaven would eventually be forced to intervene, and Azmodan could use that distraction to assault Heaven. Remember, Azmodan was a great military tactician, allegedly. And as Sun Tzu says in The Art of War, victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors just suck. I mean, we're already calling them defeated. So after the primevals were exiled, after the lesser evils won this civil war, all the demons in Hell lived happily ever after. Except they didn't. Because now, when it came time to decide, well, who's the new ruler of Hell, Azmodan and Belial didn't exactly see eye to eye. So the civil war continued to rage on, this time between Azmodan and Belial, with Azmodan holding the advantageous position throughout most of this war, and therefore being the de facto ruler of Hell for at least the next 300 years. But who cares about them? Let's get back to talking about what happened on Sanctuary. Some demons were still loyal to the primevals, and they fled to Sanctuary to help their masters sow chaos in this new world. The primevals, apparently relatively nonplussed by being evicted from Hell, decided to go through with their whole corrupt humanity plan. And as it turns out, getting exiled was part of their plan all along. All thanks to the angel, Izual. So what would the primevals do now that they're in Sanctuary? How did Izual help them come up with this plan? And what could humanity do to stop them? All these questions and more will be answered as we continue to explore this Diablo lore series. Stay tuned. Until then, be sure to get caught up on past episodes. Thanks for watching. Special thanks to my Twitch and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you like what you see on this channel and want to support the creation of more content, you can consider becoming a Royal Waiter on Patreon, where we've got a number of backer rewards, including behind-the-scenes content, monthly virtual hangouts, and more. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Rhykker's Raiders for more Diablo content.